here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video where we will talk about this sensational report in the Express newspaper that Brighton promised Liverpool they will have first dibs on Moises Caicedo. So whatever bid will arrive for Moises Caicedo, Liverpool will be first priority because many Premier League clubs have approached Brighton in the summer transfer window, but Brighton have promised Liverpool that any offer by Liverpool for midfielder Moises Caicedo will be prioritized. That's according to the Express newspaper, and also in this video we will have a fresh Jordan Henderson injury report as well as many other Liverpool news. So if you enjoy these, of course, leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here. So here is the actual report in the Express newspaper, which says that Brighton have turned down several approaches for Moises Caicedo, who scored a brilliant goal in Brighton's 5-2 win on the weekend. And of course they want clubs to wait until after the World Cup to pursue a deal because they anticipate Moises Caicedo to have a pretty good World Cup, and then his price will go up even more. Brighton signed Moises Caicedo for just 4.5 million last summer, so what a find that was by them, because of course he had a loan spell at Germina Beerschot, a club in Belgium. Well, then he returned in January, and since then he has only played 15 Premier League matches, but he has been very impressive, basically, and he's already, courting attention from across Europe. So not just Liverpool, but many other clubs are interested in him. I would have preferred Liverpool to sign Yves Bissouma, but we probably decided not to sign him because he didn't really fit the profile of a player that we are going for, and we also thought Jordan Henderson can play defensive midfield, Fabinho is our main choice, James Milner can play there, so we didn't really need an out-and-out defensive midfielder. We more needed a player of Arthur's caliber who is in contention to play against Napoli, and Thiago is back from his injury, he's back in training. He could start against Napoli as well, but there is also potentially a possibility of James Milner starting. I'm stuttering because the thought of James Milner starting against Napoli, one of the best teams in the Serie A, just sends shivers down my spine. Let me know if you feel the same way or not. But James Milner, just like Jordan Henderson, hasn't been really in form, to put it very mildly. He has been pretty bad whenever he played. So Liverpool have been told that apparently their interest will be prioritized by Brighton. That's according to Ecuadorian publication Terra Deportes, who claim that Jurgen Klopp's need for a midfielder saw them go in with a bid for Moises Caicedo on transfer deadline day. Of course, that bid was rejected, but I think it's safe to say that whenever a big bid arrives for Caicedo, Brighton will sell, because that's just their business model. They won't be able to pay the top salaries to their key players. They already sold Marco Cucurella, Neil Maupay, and also, of course, Yves Bissouma as well. So whenever a big club or a big bid comes in for one of their players, Brighton will sell for the right price. Brighton CEO Paul Barber said this: Moises Caicedo has done well, but he's still a very young player. We know with young players, form is sometimes inconsistent, and we don't want the kind of pressure on Moises Caicedo that these kind of headlines create. He's a very level-headed young man. He's more than capable of dealing with the media attention and the transfer stories. In our opinion, he has settled into the Premier League fantastically, and potentially he has got a good World Cup to look forward to as well. It's really a good time for Moises, and we are delighted to have him. And it's pretty amazing that Ecuador qualified for the World Cup, because they don't always qualify. They are not one of the biggest nations in South America, and they qualified comfortably, I think, in third or fourth place. So I'm actually looking forward to watching Ecuador, in the World Cup, because they have a pretty young squad with a lot of really good players, and they could do something in the group with, I think they are in the group with Qatar as well, so they could actually qualify to the knockout stages. And Moises Caicedo is only 20 years old, and he started off his career at Independiente del Valle at the age of 13. He joined their first team in 2019, so they are a club from Ecuador, and that's where, you know, Brighton signed him from. I mean, last season he only played 10 games, but this season he already has, of course, 6 games, 1 goal, so I expect him to play a lot of games for Brighton and also to score some goals as well. And it's pretty amazing that at just 20 years old he already has 23 international appearances for Ecuador, scoring 2 goals, and he could be another star to watch out for at the World Cup. He scored both of his goals in FIFA World Cup qualification against Uruguay and Chile. Those are not easy games, and Ecuador won both of them, and Moises Caicedo scored in both games. He's 178 centimeters tall and also 23 international games, as I already said. His market value is just 6 million euros according to Transfermarkt, but let's be honest, I think his market value is a lot more than that right now. And I think the reason why I'm making this video is just want you guys to be aware that Liverpool could approach Brighton with a transfer bid as early as January. If Moises Caicedo has a really good half a season, then Liverpool would want to go in early and try to secure his signature in January before all the big clubs will come circling around Moises Caicedo next summer. But also there is potential for him to stay at Brighton for another 2 or 3 years, just like Yves Bissouma, and then move to a big club a little bit later. But I think if he develops at the right rate, then maybe as early as January Liverpool could sign him, because he looks like a player who will develop even faster than Yves Bissouma. And according to Neil Andrew, Liverpool made a last-minute bid to sign Moises Caicedo, and Brighton will offer Liverpool priority after the World Cup on Moises Caicedo. And this could be a hint that Liverpool will make another move in January for the midfielder who continues to impress in his limited time so far in the Premier League. The problem for Liverpool now is that his value could already rocket further if he does well at the World Cup. His market value or valuation by Brighton, should I say, is around £50 million, which I think is way overpriced for a 20-year-old midfielder with just 16 Premier League appearances. But I think if Liverpool could negotiate the price down a little bit, then this could be potential transfer that I can see happening. What is even more interesting, and I think this backs up the claim that Liverpool made a late approach for Caicedo, and this was found by a Liverpool fan on Twitter, that out of nothing Caicedo followed Arthur Melo on transfer deadline day, which seems a little bit random because Arthur Melo was about to sign for Liverpool on transfer deadline day, so I'm not sure why this happened, but it happened, and here is proof. So make of that what you will. Hopefully that means that Liverpool started talking with Caicedo and they have started laying down the groundworks of a future transfer. And according to Italian news outlets Calcio Mercato, Liverpool tried signing Denis Zakaria as well. In the end, he went to Chelsea, apparently because of finances. Probably he wanted too big of a wage to fit into the wage structure at Liverpool. I mean, Arthur Melo is on like £80,000 per week, which is a pretty moderate wage compared to the top earners at Liverpool. The top earners like Salah and Henderson and others are earning like 250, 300k or even more weekly wages. So Arthur Melo is in the probably in the middle of wage earners. At Chelsea, Zakaria is probably getting a lot more money than that. so that's why Liverpool didn't go for him. And it has been confirmed that Jordan Henderson will be out for 3 weeks with an injury, with a minor hamstring strain. And basically Henderson will be back probably for the international break, the Nations League fixtures. The Athletic claimed that Henderson will be out for 3 weeks. He underwent a scan on Friday, and that was confirmed by James Pearce. So he will miss, of course, the Napoli game, Wolves, Ajax, Chelsea. So some really big games. But I think that now that Arthur is at Liverpool, now that Thiago is back from his injury, hopefully we will cope. And I really don't want Henderson to start regularly this season. I think we should move on from him and play Harvey Elliott, Thiago, Fabinho, Carvalho, Arthur Melo, these kind of players. They are much better than what Jordan Henderson can offer us in midfield. Don't get me wrong, he's a great leader and he has a job to do. And he has a place in the Liverpool squad, but not as a regular starter. He shouldn't be week in, week out starting for Liverpool. For the first time in Premier League history, Liverpool are set to have higher revenues than Manchester United. That is according to the latest financial report by Off the Pitch. And they said the report reveals that for the first time in Premier League history, Liverpool have not only overtaken Man United on the pitch, but Liverpool are now bigger in the turnover terms as well. This also means that Manchester United for the first time are only number 3 for Premier League revenues, behind Liverpool and Manchester City. Liverpool are set to take home the largest chunk of broadcast income by some distance, reaching the final of all Cup competitions, finishing second in the Premier League. Liverpool have seemed miles ahead of Manchester United for the past 5 years. It is not only now that Liverpool are set to leapfrog Man United in terms of revenue generation, and this is a very significant milestone, I think, because Man United have always earned more money than Liverpool, but it needed a continued year-on-year success and doing much better on the pitch than Man United to overtake them off the pitch in terms of revenue as well. Fabio Aurelio also tipped Arsenal to play a bigger part in the title race this season. He said, "We are only a few games into the season, but I've been really impressed with Arsenal. They are a team we should be paying attention to. Obviously, I knew Gabriel Jesus was a really good player from his time at Man City, but I didn't expect him to fit in so well at Arsenal. He has been so good, he has shown us even more in the last few weeks of what he's capable of doing than he did during his time at Man City. As far as how I see the top 4 looking, you cannot imagine Liverpool and Man City not being in there. Then I think it's Arsenal who must be the third option from what we have seen. So far it's early days, and of course the fixtures haven't been the most difficult for Arsenal, but you have to win games and that's what they have been doing. So it's going to be very interesting and fascinating how the title race and the top 4 race shapes up. Should I still do my Premier League predictions video? Let me know, because now that the transfer window is done, I wanted to wait until all the transfers have been completed, because I just had a feeling that Man United, Chelsea will spend a lot of money in the last few days of the transfer window, and that's exactly what happened. So let me know if I should do a Premier League predictions video still in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Bye.